Welcome back to another edition of the Racing Show. Not the most exciting weekend this weekend, so we'll take a quick look back at York. We'll have a look how we did over the 4 days of York, and then we'll have a look at some action this weekend. Just the two races at Sandown I'm going to take a look at this weekend. So York started off really well. The Wednesday we had the Lion and Winter win at 5-2, and that was one of two tips on the day. So we were plus 1.5 points for day one, a 3.5 point return on a 2 point plays. So two different selections, one winner. The next day we had Content win at 3-1 in the Yorkshire Oaks. So that put us up another few points for that day. The next day, the only bet of the day was Vauban in the Lonsdale Cup. Had a nice bet on that, had a good wedge on, so that was a nice one. Strongest bet of the day, only bet of the day. And that was at 4-1. I think it even might have SP'd a bit bigger, maybe 5-1. So that put us up a nice few more points. I think we were 7.5 points up after the Friday, and Saturday was probably a day to forget. 3 bets put up, no winner. So we ended the York Festival up 3.5 points, I think, to a level playing to £1 level stake. So if you'd put a £10 bet on all of them, you'd be up £45. £100 bet, you'd be up £450, etc., etc. So let's try and keep the good form going into this weekend. There's 2 races I'm going to take a look at this weekend, both come in at Sandown. So the first race I'm going to look at is the Atalanta Stakes at Sandown. It's 225. It's for the fillies over a mile. It's a Group 3. So we'll just take a quick look at the field and the odds. So just the 9 in here to make up the field of the Atalanta Stakes. Quick look at some past results and some trends for this one. So it's pretty much solely only been won by 3 or 4-year-olds, and I think that is the case this year. There's only 3 or 4-year-olds that have been entered out of the 9. So that's nothing that we can really draw anything from. Favourites don't have a great record, only 3 winning favourites in the last 8 years, and only a few more going a bit further back than that. So Tamfana would be a negative for me because of that. And then you probably want to be on something rated 99 or higher, as pretty much all bar one horse that has gone on to win this race was rated 99 or higher. And then the last trend we're going to look at is season runs. So on the far right column, it shows season runs, and it tends to be dominated by horses that have had 3 or 4 season runs in Britain that season. So taking all of that into account, it doesn't actually kind of reduce the field massively. So I've just gone through and looking at the ground and the expected forecast. I think it looks dry. Sandown, it's currently good. I think it could move to good to firm. So just having a look at some, I think some will probably want some cut in the ground, and therefore this isn't going to suit them massively. So Tamfana's one that's been tried up in Trip and over in France. Similarly as Spiritual and Rolliker. Rolliker's actually got a 90-day layoff, and only horses that have won this with a significant layoff tended to be quite good and trained by John Gosden. Bright Thunder, another one that's been tried highly in France. I mean, that kind of that kind of lead you towards thinking that the trainer or the connections think that horse might need softer ground, as it quite often is in France. So that kind of leaves us Naomi LaPaglia, Doom, Choicia and Doha. Imperial Quarter just hasn't had 3 or 4 runs this season, so that's another one out. So Naomi LaPaglia, good form, same as Doom, Choicia and Doha. And the latterly mentioned Doha is going to be the tip here. I think he's getting his conditions for this race. The one time he's had these conditions, 1 mile on good firm ground, he won, and it was at Ascot in a very competitive 24 runner handicap. Doha is a See the Star filly, a 4-year-old who is out of one of the best mares to ever grace the flat, Trev. She'll carry on improving. She improved for going up to 10 furlongs last time out in a Group 1. Posted a 107 RPR. I think she is better at the mile. And I think coming back down in trip, getting the good ground, which she didn't get at Pontefract, which is why Carnarvon beat her. I think she's gonna take a lot of beating here, and the fact that we're getting quite a juiced up price due to Tamfana making up the market here and being very short, I think, Doha for Ralph Becker and Hector Crouch is a very good bet at somewhere between 6 and 8 to 1. And the other race from the Sandown I'm going to have a look at is the 335 Solario Stakes. It's a Group 3 for the Colts and Geldens, 2-year-olds. So we'll just take a quick look at the runners in the field. Just the 8 runners go to post. Now we'll take a quick look at some recent results and some trends for this race. And as you can see, the first and the second favourites tend to dominate the market and dominate this race in years gone by. The last time it wasn't won by a first or a second favourite was 2011, and that was a third favourite. So yeah, we're definitely looking towards the top end of the market, first or second favourite here. As well as that, it seems favourable to have won last time out. So horse in good form, improving, and possibly ran at 7 furlongs last time out as well. There's quite a few unbeaten or kind of 2-raced, one on last start kind of profiles in this race. Just to name a few: Field of Gold, Hot Shot, Matari Bay, Victory Sound, Zoos Your Daddy actually ran well last time out, didn't win, became second, and Royal Playwright. I was deeply impressed by Royal Playwright on debut, and I'm going to take a chance on him to confirm that debut promise and win this at roughly 3 to 1. Now, Royal Playwright is a Lope de Vega colt out of Arabian Queen. Arabian Queen has been a very, very good producer for Andrew Bolden. 5 progeny now, all winners, from horses such as Arabian Storm, who was a good kind of sprinter to 7 furlonger, Spirit Mixer, who won 5 times out of 29 races, and more recently See the Fire, who recently won a Group 2 for Andrew Bolden. Interestingly, See the Fire was the only other progeny to have won on debut over 7 furlongs, and all of the progeny ended up nearly being rated 100. So the fact that Royal Playwright did win on debut, did win over 7, and is a colt out of Lope de Vega, I'd be very kind of hopeful and positive about this horse going forward. I think he could be quite good. He could be a top-notcher, and if he's anything like his half-sister See the Fire, he's definitely a horse we could see over kind of Guineas or maybe even Derby trips next season, depending on how things go the end of this season and the start of next. But yeah, out of a very good high-class performing Arabian Queen who's produced high-class horses already, that always go to the same trainer. So yeah, Royal Playwright for Oisin Murphy and Andrew Bolden in the Solario Stakes at 3:35 at Sandown on Saturday.